Welcome to the fifth installment of American History Notes. Um, I'm going to talk to you today about my studies in American history, and hopefully it'll be something that you'll get something out of, even if you disagree. It'll prompt you to do some research. So I'm going to start and say the absence of large cities with heavy populations characterizes the difference between North and South America pre-Columbian times. One reason may be that we simply have not found what is still buried out there with regard to complex culture in North America at this time. Another might be that the building material used was less permanent from North American structures and all traces have been lost. Still another could be the possibility of transoceanic trade or ideas that enliven the Central and South American cultures. It's a fundamental error, I believe, to draw too many absolute conclusions written in stone based on the lack of evidence, which may be more the consequence of the scholar's own failure than any shortcoming on the part of the culture being studied. The first important culture in the Southwest is called Anasazi. Perhaps in a response to influences from Mexico, called Mesoamerican for Central American, they begin to turn away from being nomadic hunters and gatherers around 500 AD or a little later. It was a hard life living by killing game and carrying everything you owned on your back. They began living in small villages. They farmed the land, taking up agriculture. They still hunted and gathered, not as their only way of obtaining food, but as a complement to cultivated corn, beans, squash, and other crops. In the first half of their history, the Anasazi distinguished themselves primarily through their basketry, which they crafted from the fibers of plants. In the second half, they left their mark on a much larger scale through the construction of perhaps the most stunning prehistoric communities in the United States. The heart of the Anasazi region lay across the southern Colorado Plateau and the upper Rio Grande drainage. It crossed northeastern Arizona, northwestern New Mexico, southeastern Utah, and southwestern Colorado, a region called the Four Corners. These people built houses made of mud and stone, appeared to develop into a highly sophisticated culture, and then around 1200 vanished. Scholars argue about whether climatic conditions, climate change, such as drought, ended their culture, or whether it was social unrest. And there was a New York Times article from 1996 about conjectures that modern scientists made regarding the Anasazi. It was posted August 20th, 1996, and it was an article written by George Johnson called "Social Strife May Have Exiled Ancient Indians." So basically, the gist of it is pressures brought about by climate change, the Great Drought, things like that. That it looks like maybe there was a breakdown in society, and this breakdown may have caused the fall of the Anasazi culture. So it, climate played a big factor. Now, another culture, well, what all these theories have in common is a rejection of the old notion. It's not just the environment as a single determining cause. The Anasazi were not passive pawns of blind forces. You look into the environment and you look into the social structure and things like that, and it's very hard to do that without writing. So another culture worth mentioning is the Adena Hopewell culture of Central America. We're going to talk about that in the great North American city of Cahokia, or Cahokia, and next time. And thank you for paying attention.